Welcome to Roundy's Rants, Raves, and Reviews. And today I am so privileged and pleased to have with me here one, an old student of mine, two, a good friend. I consider him and an inspiration to me, Colton Frederick. And you go by CK as your author name.
Yep.
Yes. Very cool. And so, CK, will you tell us a little bit about you and what you do?
Okay. Yeah. So I am kind of an outdoorsman. I got a family of five, or well, six, including me. So my wife, three daughters, and one son.
Aw.
I work for the state at the Department of Corrections, and I've written a book.
Now, when you were in school, I know you were an outdoors person back then and everything like this, but you do a lot more of that now, right? I mean, I see your
Yeah.
videos, you're up hiking, do you also paint?
No, that's my wife,
That's your wife.
actually.
Okay.
Mhm.
I've seen some paintings in your videos and stuff, and I was like,
Yes.
she's incredible. I'll have to have you meet
Yeah.
her one of these days too.
Heck yeah. She's good at it.
She's good at it. She's very good. But when did you start liking to write stuff? I think I had you in drama. I don't think I ever had you in English, but did
Yeah.
you write a lot in high school? Was that
No, ma'am, I did not.
Did you even like reading in high school?
Well, yeah, I love to
Okay,
read.
good. Okay.
Yep, I love to read. So when I guess my love for writing started when it was kind of out of the blue. The way that my book was even written was totally out of the blue. I was asleep. It was Christmas Eve of 2018
Okay.
and sacked out. And at 2 a.m., I woke up with this incessant need to write. Like it was, I mean, it's a Christian podcast. So
Yeah.
it was from on high. It was a message from God. And he was telling me, the dream that you just had, you need to write it down. And so I started writing.
You don't ignore those promptings. I'm just
No,
saying, no.
no, and it was powerful. Like I was for a year. So that night or that morning, I guess I woke up and I wrote from 2 o'clock until 6 o'clock. I
Wow.
slept for 2 hours and then I wrote all of the rest of the day.
Okay.
And it was absolutely mind blowing that all this stuff was coming from my head and being put onto this paper. And I fell in love with it. And I wrote from then until I guess it would be Christmas of 2019. Mind you, I went through the police academy and I was doing all of this stuff, change of jobs and all that in that time. And then I just wrote and wrote and wrote. And then I finished the manuscript at the end of the year.
Wow. That is incredible to me. I mean, it's just that you were my story, having six kids, going to school,
Uh-huh.
teaching full time, still doing theater and all those crazy things. I look at people now and I'm going, how did I do that? Let alone how are you
Right?
doing it? Right. But it's like, I'm going to school, changing jobs. And then also God says, oh, and by the way, I want you to write a novel.
Yeah. Yeah. And something that I did not like. I mean, I love action. I love intensity. I love thrillers and stuff like that, but this was not my cup of tea. Urban fiction was not like I liked it, but it wasn't what I never would have thought that I would have written that. And mind you, like I'd had little ideas when I was growing up and just fun little story things that I would tell myself, but it was not something that I ever thought would become like a legitimate thing. I never thought I would be a published author. Maybe when I was a kid, I dreamt about it, but nothing like it was today.
When did that dream kind of go away, do you think? I mean, you said that weren't a
Mm,
writer in high school when I knew you. When
right.
did that kind of end for you then? Where was that change?
I would say probably when I was right kind of in going into high school, I think is kind of when it started to change. I think I just kind of lost sight of it. You remember Haley?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So Haley and I, like, we had kind of talked about, writing little things and we kind of worked on little projects together. And it was kind of fun, but it was not something that I ever thought that I would be good at. And I think that high school time was just kind of when my life was kind of going crazy and I had a lot of things that kind of just were in my way, family things and stuff. And then all of a sudden, that's when, I just kind of started to go away. I started thinking of other things, mostly girls And
I think that's a lot of it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Teenage
I don't.
boys.
Yeah, yep, they absolutely. And I think part of that was I wasn't focused on a future. I was mostly focused on right here and right now. And then I think by the time I think by the time I'd finally had kids and was kind of thinking about things, I think maybe my life had kind of opened up enough that I had the capacity to actually take on something new. I think that that's kind of where that fell into place.
God puts us where we need to be, and I don't know, and I always taught you guys live in the present. That's a good thing.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that, and it's always curious to me as a teacher to see like why is it and where are people losing their love of reading, losing their love of writing, and doing those things, and so and you're right. Sometimes it's just hormones and growing up
Yeah.
and everything else that goes on
Yeah.
in life. Life gets busy and stuff like that too. So give us a little bit about what is your book about and
Okay.
what's going on with it.
Yeah. Let me grab it real quick.
I would
Um,
love, yes. It's a beautiful
sorry,
cover, by
let's
the way. Yes.
thank you. Yeah, so it's in the
Is
sunlight.
that, oh, here we go. Yeah.
Rooms of the Witch is my book. It's an urban fantasy. It's about a man who stumbles on oh my heavens, a detective from the underrealm who he saves her life, and then his whole world is thrown into chaos because he has to kind of figure out who she is and why his life is being why there's assassination attempts on his own life and what's going on with his family and all that kind of stuff. So kind of a fun ride. It's full of action and full of excitement. There's a little bit of romance in there, and yeah, it's kind of fun.
Clean enough for young adults and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, it started out with me telling my children about it.
Oh, okay.
So I would tell my children little stories in the mornings, or at night before they would go to bed, and it really started off with that. There's just enough spice to make it interesting, but it's not. I mean, it's very very clean. So
I love that because so many times I want to go read some books and it's like, but you just ruined it for me. But I
yeah,
love a
that's too
little.
much habanero for me.
Right? Very cool. Well, are there themes or issues that you deal with in this book that are like personal to you or that you see going on in the world that are like things that you see coming through it?
That's a good question. I think a lot of it is attacking life and learning to become what you didn't expect. I think that's kind of the biggest issue is to just kind of take life by the horns and roll with it, and also take the punches and see what kind of comes out of it. I think those are kind of my big issues that are in there, but it was not written with any like intent on that. Most of it was just story. Like I said, I had this story that I had to write, and I don't know, it's kind of turned into something fun. I've got a cousin that he was not a reader, he's not a writer or anything like that. He's 15, and he picked it up, and this is the first book that he's read for at all, and he's wanted to write kind of a short story offshoot of the book. And I think most of it is just inspiring others, I guess, is kind of the idea behind my book.
You've already got your first fan fiction going. Okay.
Heck yeah.
I love it. I need to get a copy for my classroom. It sounds like for the
Heck yeah.
folks in my room who are like, I don't read, and I'm like, try this.
Yes, absolutely. There's a young man in my ward that has read the book 3 times now.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's incredible. I love that it's inspiring not only others to read, but also to maybe even start writing, and
Yeah.
especially young men, because so often it's looked over as a thing for, which is funny because what, the first 1,000 years, women have
Right?
only been writing for like 1,000 years, at least under their own names, that men somehow don't think of that as a viable option and things like this. But
Yeah.
cool. You talked about getting through things, tackling things head on. What is it that you tackle head on in your life? What is something that is like your rant, that is your issue that you're like, this needs to be tackled. We need to talk about these things. Is there something that stands out to you
Yeah.
currently in life?
Yeah. Something that's kind of been really, really on my mind lately is kind of the limitations, our own personal limits. And I feel like we set our own bars so low, and yet God has made it so that we are way, way more uh, impassable, I guess. We can do way more than we think we can. So I don't know if you know, I one of the things that I really love to do is I love to run ultra marathons.
I know you love to do it. I don't know why people love to do it, but I love that you love to do it. I will not be running them with you,
Yeah,
but
it's
tell me,
okay.
yes, tell me about these marathons. I love
Yeah.
ultra them too. So
So an ultra marathon is anything over 26.2 miles. And I fell in love with them. So I was not a very fit person in high
I was gonna
school.
say you weren't not the athletic type when we were. I mean,
No.
the most you did was dancing on stage, really,
Yep.
quite
Yeah.
honestly. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, that was about it. I like to hike. I like to do some of those little things, but that was kind of it. And then when I was on my mission, while I was there, I started reading the Word of Wisdom, and I realized that it's not just like this list of, oh, you shouldn't do these things. It was a lot of guidelines to this is how to be healthy and this is how to be strong. And I realized that it was because it was those guidelines, I learned that I could actually maybe take my own health into consideration. And so I started exercising. I started running, and I randomly fell in love with it. And then, yeah, it just kind of exploded from there. And I thoroughly enjoy them. I haven't done one in a few years. I injured my ankle a couple of years ago, and this is kind of why my rant is setting our own limitations. I can run through it, and I don't. And part of that I think is because the pain is there and I don't allow myself to push past that pain sometimes. Maybe it's the other side is sometimes I push past the pain too much and I'm a little bit of a masochist, so I really love to lift. Really love to run. I like physical challenges because that little pain that I can take on right now makes it so that when life gets hard or I have a hard decision that I have to make or something like that, that's easy. That stuff comes so natural because I've already taken the time to put myself through hard laborious stress. And then when the life stuff comes in and it is hard things, I can say, okay, let's just do this. This is how I've responded in the past. Now I can go on and I can move past that. And I feel like if I can inspire others to push past their own limits, I think that our world would be a lot more of a positive place. But I also think that it would be filled with people who are what's the word? Fulfilling their own purpose.
Right.
Because I think a lot of people don't know what their purpose is. And people aren't doing things that are setting their souls on fire. And when they do, or when we do, all of a sudden our lives become something of absolute interest, but it also becomes something more fulfilling than just doing the everyday, go to work, come home, eat, sleep, and go to bed. I think that there's so much more to life than just working. And I think that, like I say, that's kind of my rant is become what you want to be. If you have a dream, chase it. Why not do the work every single day to get there? And that's again, yeah, that's kind of my little preach step.
Preach. You guys, you grew up with some of my rants through things, so
Yeah.
I love that idea of that becoming though, and that little bit of pain, and it goes to life too, right? Those little things that seem like we're hurting us right now, how much they help us grow, how much they do,
Yes.
and we limit ourselves. You're right.
Yeah.
God's like, with me, anything's possible, and I'm
Yep.
like, but not this time, God. But really, I don't think you can help me through this one.
Right.
We're putting limitations on God and
Yeah.
what He can do for us. But I also like the thought you said about sometimes we push too much and hurt
Hmm.
ourselves. And then that also can happen too, is if
Oh
we
yeah.
aren't careful, we can often push ourselves beyond what God says to do. Not that He
Right.
can't
Right.
help us through it, but He's like, I didn't tell you to go here.
Yeah, and
And do that.
I totally agree. I think it's kind of that running more than what we have at the moment, right? I think we try and eat too much of the big sandwich. We take too big of bites, and then we have to go back and say, "Oh, okay, I can't do that much. I'm going to finish this sandwich, but it's going to be smaller bites to get there."
Absolutely. I also love that you went to the word of wisdom. For those who aren't of the LDS faith, the word of wisdom is a code to live by, and most people know it is. We don't drink alcohol, we don't drink tea,
Right.
we don't do these things, but I've loved so much lately. There's been a lot of podcasts and LDS people who've been explaining it and going further. And it's been there all along. We just
Oh
haven't
yeah.
focused on it. It's
Yes.
like what we should do too. I mean,
Right.
it's keep ourselves healthy and eat the right things and eat the right
Yep.
times and not and moderation in all things. It's
Yeah, sleep and do the things that you're supposed to do. The stuff that modern technology and modern science has said, yeah, you should do these things to make yourself healthy. And it's like, oh, well, this was given to us in the 1820s, and hey, we should be doing these things.
it's ironic to me what I've seen coming out of science lately of all those things, and I'm going, oh my goodness, all of these things that people are like, oh, well, you guys are weird for doing these, and you guys are not. I'm
Yes.
like, but and trusting the Lord, and it even goes back. I loved teaching in 11th grade American literature. Was our Benjamin? Oh, I can't think of him now. I was an A. He had the limericks and he had those pieces of wisdom and Poor Richard's
Yes.
Almanac, and it was always like the man who gets up early and all those things. He had all of those things even before all of this, and
Yeah.
here we are, like it's ancient wisdom. You go back to it's like, but we're just like, oh, maybe we should do these things.
Right? Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's in the Bible, right? We read about eating vegetables instead of just meat all the time, and having that moderation. Wow, all of a sudden you're way stronger than if you just did one thing all the time.
What was that? Was it Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego?
Yeah.
And then and then there's the other ones that they're like, hey, let us try this and
Yeah,
not
yeah.
like everyone else and see where we're at. And
Uh-huh.
I'm like, we've always had these ideas, but everyone's like, oh, but that was different then. I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't think our physical bodies and biology has changed a whole heck of a lot.
No, no, not in ever.
And it's funny, but the fact that you've taken that and personalized that into also beyond just a physical thing, but to
Yeah.
that life is so important. This idea of becoming, how have you seen yourself becoming better and who have you want to be throughout this process over the last several years?
That's a great question. When I very first started with the book, I never thought that would be something that I would do. Working in my career was also something that I never thought I would do. Having the strength that I have from spending time in the gym is not something that I ever thought I would do or become. I've always, everybody has that ideal like physique or whatever, and I never thought about, the fact that a little bit goes a long way as long as you're doing it every day. And my mind has changed from work being a four-letter curse word to being something that I absolutely love. I love putting in a little bit of work every day or a lot of bit of work every single day so that I can be able to achieve my goals. When I very first started bench pressing, I couldn't even do 90 pounds, right? Like I would put 90 pounds on the bar and it was heavy. I tried to push past that. And then now I'm doing way more than that. And it's exciting to me that just a little bit every single day makes a huge difference. And then with a book, right? So book one is done. I'm working on, well, my second manuscript is done. I'm working on a side project at the same time. And I'm maybe 10 pages away from that. And just a little bit, right? I have a family that I never thought I would have. They're beautiful. They're great. And they make my life so much richer because I have them, and that's not how I expected my life to ever go.
Has it become, what have you found? I love this idea of your family and what God blesses us with to help us and to give us things that we never thought we could have before and doing. How has having a family influenced you and your becoming and who you are becoming with God's help?
100% they make me better, right? Like what I thought I could do is pushed way beyond that because my family trusts in me. They know that I can accomplish these things, and they love me, and when I fail, my wife can say, "It's okay, just get back up," right? And she can help me in those things. My children are looking to me to protect them and be there with them and help them and provide for them, and that's all because of my family. If I hadn't had a family, I think maybe I would have accomplished some of this, but I don't think it would be to the extent that I have. I think my family is totally that blessing of fulfillment and pushing and providing and just full of love.
I love is so much of that. I think is the same thing here is like what I was able to accomplish. I don't think I could have done without my husband and my children.
Yeah.
And it's still that way, right? And now I
Yeah.
have my grandchildren and my in-laws and my parents and my brothers and sisters, all of that only, strengthened through it and that and allowing that love. Which is funny because we go back to the beginning where God loves us and he can set it, but we put limits on him, but our family helps us. So
Right. Right.
it's a good thing God puts them there for us to
Yes.
bridge that gap a little bit. Because if God says it, maybe not. But if my mom says
Right.
it, I'm okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I love the idea that you were telling these stories to your kids. What did they think about them?
Well, they loved them. They thought it was so much fun. So, like I said, these some of the beginnings of are the bones of this story was something that I told myself when I was like 12 years old.
Okay.
And over time, it kind of evolved, but it was always like, oh, yeah, that's kind of fun to add to that story, but nothing big. And then my children were begging me to tell them stories. And so finally, I was like, well, all right. I mean, why not tell them the bare bones of this? And then over time, I was like, hey, I could do that. And again, it was all just maybe, it's not a big deal. And then, like I say, it turned into this. And now my kids, they, like I said, I've read the book to them, skipping some minor details because it's a little bloody, but
Oh, we'll wait till they're a little older teenagers here.
yeah, yeah. Get a little older and it's not as scary, but yeah, I mean, it really has been fun for them. They go through and now they've fallen in love with reading and they love stories and they love listening to books and it's super fun.
I love that. As a teacher, I am so like grateful.
Yeah.
I wish we could have more of that, and I hope that lasts with it. So, you've mentioned books coming up, you've got things happening and everything else like that. Where can we find you and where can we find these things that are coming out, follow you and get these updates and things like that?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram, author CK Frederick. I'm also on TikTok and Facebook, same handle. And then my book is right now available on Amazon. I'm hoping to kind of change where else it's available. And then hopefully all the rest of the stuff that I write will come out through Amazon again.
Very cool. And I always ask my guests, what is it you'd like to leave us with? What is it you want us to go away with as a message from you to take with us today?
I would say trust yourself and set your soul on fire. Do something that sets your soul on fire. Find enjoyment in something that you can attack and work really hard for. And then chase it. Don't be afraid. And when you fall, get back up. If you fail, get back up because failing is the way that we learn. It's not really failure unless you give up. Excuse me. I think if I could give you anything to kind of take away from this is just become who you want to be. Become who, be prayerful and work towards who God wants you to be as well. And I think your future will be way brighter than you think it is.
I love that. I really am that becoming who God wants us to be too, because sometimes if we put it in alignment with that, it happens so much better.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
otherwise, God's like fighting
100%.
for us over here, and we're just like, but I want to
Yeah.
do this. And
Yeah.
so, but
100%.
once we give into that, sometimes it's like, oh, it's so much better and easier this way.
Yeah. Huh.
But
These doors are open now.
go figure. When we fight against it, sometimes it can be hard, but that's true. I love that idea of that becoming who we are meant to be, and so powerful in today's age, I think, when we're pulled so many ways and stuff like that. Well,
Absolutely.
awesome. Thank you so much for joining me. Everyone, please go check out CK Frederick, author. Are you doing any book signings or anything in the future
I
or
don't have anything set up yet. I would like to, but it's just kind of I'm just kind of trying to get another book
finish first?
written so that I can kind of start getting a little bit more of a following. So
Well, I look forward to that and get with me anytime when the next one comes out. We can do a thing again and talk
it'll be
about it
super
if you'd
fun.
like. And maybe we can get together and do some book signings together and stuff like that. That'd be
Heck
awesome.
yeah.
Very cool. Well, thank you for joining us on Roundy's Rants, Raves, and Reviews, and join us next time. Talk to you later, guys.